Did the old prophets actually meet angels on top of mountains? Or were they highly intelligent beings from a galaxy far, far away? Today, we're taking a look at 3 well-known sightings of UFOs. Because let's face it, we're not alone, and the evidence is everywhere.
Today, we're going to explore a new mystery, the presence of aliens in ancient India. Like in the West, there have been centuries of debates about aliens in India, from ancient nuclear weapons in Hindu scriptures to strange rock paintings. There's no shortage of evidence, but the truth still remains hidden from us. If you're curious and want to know more, let's dive right in. Strange rock paintings. Firstly, we have the strange rock paintings in India, which appear to depict aliens and UFOs. These paintings were discovered in 2014 in the Kanker district of the Bastar region. They're estimated to be around 10,000 years old. Archaeologist J.R. Bhagat claims their depiction is similar to that of aliens in Hollywood or even Bollywood. These figures were painted in natural colors that have hardly faded over the years. They could be found holding weapon-like objects, but do not have clear facial features. In particular, the noses and mouths are missing. Some figures are even depicted wearing what seems to be spacesuits. Were these figures spawned from the imagination of prehistoric humans? Or did these prehistoric humans actually encounter the strange alien beings depicted? A series of folk stories and beliefs in the village may shed further light on this. Some villagers are known to worship the paintings. Many others do not, but still tell stories passed down from their ancestors. These stories speak of the Rohila, which means the small-sized ones in English. They used to land from the sky in round flying objects. Upon landing, these Rohila would take 1 or 2 villagers away for good. That sounds like aliens, doesn't it? It's a classic alien abduction story. Spaceships in Scripture. The Vedic texts, one of Hinduism's many scriptures, also speak of fantastic devices like spaceships and nuclear weapons. The Vimana were machines piloted by the gods. They were mostly flying machines, with a rounded, saucer-like appearance. There are various types of Vimana. Each could travel at different speeds and distances. Some were land and seafaring vehicles, while others flew, sometimes to the moon or further. What's interesting is that the texts also include diagrams, as well as fuel sources. The text translations generally refer to elements and minerals we're familiar with. These include things like mica, quicksilver, and mercury. Speaking of mica and mercury, the mysterious pyramids at Teotihuacan also contain large stores of those minerals. Did the same alien civilizations share their tech with various cultures? Nobody knows for sure. Interested in learning about that and other Teotihuacan mysteries? Check out the video I made on it later. The link is in the description. Anyway, back to aliens in ancient India. The Vimana diagrams also mention stranger types of fuel. One of them is honey. Honey as a fuel sounds weird, but it might refer to an unknown substance with similar characteristics or appearance. Or it's possible the alien technology worked in strange ways. Who knows? Recorded descriptions of Vimanas taking off are also pretty interesting. Here's one translation of a passage in the Vedic Mahabharata. The Vimana had all necessary equipment. It could not be conquered by the gods or demons, and it radiated light and reverberated with a deep, rumbling sound. Its beauty captivated the minds of all who beheld it. It sounds as though the Vimanas held jet propulsion, right? The ancient civilization writing this wouldn't know what that sounded like, unless, of course, they had some outside help. Eric von Däniken, an infamous ufologist, also takes note of the depiction of Shiva flying on his bird, Garuda. He claims it could have been a primitive description of an airplane or spacecraft. In the text, Garuda was known for various fantastical feats. This includes dropping bombs, flying to the moon, and ferrying Shiva to different locations throughout the solar system. To ancient minds, an extraterrestrial aircraft would have been incomprehensible. Was this their way of trying to explain it? Ancient nuclear warfare. I did mention nuclear warfare as well earlier. One rather strange tale comes from a translation of the Drona Parva, the 7th book in the Mahabharata. The book describes Drona, a warrior appointed as leader of an army, and his horrifying death. The Mahabharata generally doesn't shy away from unflattering depictions of war. Still, Drona's death is especially gruesome. It describes explosions that level everything, animals screaming and engulfed in flames, pregnant women's babies dying, and metal armor melting onto the skins of warriors. Even birds began to drop from the sky. All this is caused by a single projectile with the power of the universe, as bright as 1,000 suns. We beheld in the sky what appeared to us to be a mass of scarlet clouds resembling the fierce flames of a blazing fire. From that mass, many blazing missiles flashed, and tremendous roars, like the noise of 1,000 drums beaten at once. And from it fell many weapons winged with gold, and thousands of thunderbolts, with loud explosions and many hundreds of fiery wheels. This entire scene is eerily reminiscent of a nuclear blast and its after effects. Building techniques. The construction techniques of ancient India may also serve as extraterrestrial clues. Even millennia ago, they were able to build earthquake-proof buildings. This was done using a glue-like substance as mortar. The substance was 20 times as strong as concrete. Imagine that! Even paper couldn't fit between the seams of the bricks. We know this because it was recorded in ancient Sanskrit text known as the Mayamatam. The builders received their knowledge from the god named Mayasura. Interestingly, Peru has buildings constructed in a very similar way. Could Mayasura have visited Peru as well? Perhaps he was some sort of wandering alien consultant or architect. Mysteriously abandoned cities. Speaking of buildings, the unexplained collapse of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa is worth looking at too. These were two egalitarian and very advanced civilizations in the Indus Valley. The sudden disappearance of the inhabitants has puzzled archaeologists for decades. Coincidentally, it happened around the time the Great Pyramids of Egypt were constructed. These two cities were thriving centers of technology and culture for centuries. Mohenjo-Daro, in particular, appears to have collapsed after 600 years of being inhabited. The question is, why? Did the inhabitants go to war against their alien masters and get nuked? These cities are anomalous, not just because of their collapse. They were incredibly advanced, decentralized, and secular. Their civilizations had no distinct hierarchy or elite ruling class and were likely governed by elected officials. Excavations at Mohenjo-Daro unearthed the skeletons of a family holding hands. They seem to have been flattened with rubble and ash covering them. It's as if they were killed by an abrupt event. Some archaeologists also claim there was a layer of radioactive ash found in the soil. Still, others in the same field dispute these claims. There is insignificant evidence to show that the radiation levels were significant. Still, it's strange that two highly advanced civilizations experienced apocalyptic events at the same time, despite being many miles apart. Alternatively, maybe the corpses were those left behind. The aliens could have uplifted the others in a massive blast of energy. Possibly, they then moved on to begin helping Egypt arise. Many mysteries have been uncovered from ancient India, but many more remain. Were the stories of spaceships and gigantic explosions spiritual metaphors? Or did aliens have a hand in these? Someday, we'll find out the truth. For now, the theorizing continues. Make sure to comment below on what your thoughts are, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching this episode of Ufology. See you in the next one.